So jets include a lot of physics in Valkyrian skies because they are weight based and propulsion and lift based, really. Uh, the most planes that people make in Valkyrian skies, they tend to have a higher flap to wing ratio. The wing only really just gives it lift, but everything else is done by the flaps. Me, however, I really like having a nice wing flap ratio. Just makes it feel really nice to fly. Alright, so we'll get started over here. So the first thing is your engine type. Huge engines are going to be a lot easier to manage. However, they are long and kind of bulky as they take up a 3 wide footprint like that. Or you can go with the modular or diesel engines, which take up a 1 wide footprint. However, they're stacked too tall. So you're obviously going to need the engine will be stacked vertically instead of horizontally like the huge engine would. So depending on the plane, you're obviously going to need to change your setup. I usually have something like this. Case cogwheel at the front. This is 1,000 kilograms with the data pack on, so that's why I use it. This would be running like that here, or flip the other way around. It doesn't really matter. But what does matter is where you place your redstone, because if they happen to activate these engines, they will just shut off completely. So you want to be careful of that. That is very crucial is your weight balance. You want your weight further up front and your lift to generate from the behind. You don't want it to be tipping over or lifting up too much. You're gonna have to have a nice balance between it, and you want these moving fast. So you're gonna need like a couple max power thrusters, maybe 1 or 2 might do the job, but it's all preference. I usually have 3 to 4. It's really fast. I should probably tune that down. But yeah, as right here you can see the seat, the cockpit, and the fuselage, the body, the wings, the elevators. These are elevators. These are wings. These are called flaps. Sometimes you have to add flaps up front to balance out the lift weight flap ratio. Yeah, so essentially inside you'll see the pump engines running into a clutch or whatever, a drive clutch. Here's some cannon mounts for autocannons. I didn't really care too much for these, so I just put them up top. And then they will split off into your flat bearings. These are powered by redstone and mechanical energy. So when chain drives or shafts are rotating in these will have power, and when you activate either side with redstone, top or bottom, left or right, it would either shut the power or turn the bearing. In here, it's connected to this block, but it's still connected to these flaps. So another more advanced thing, quote unquote, are vertical stabilizers that are tilted. These just are pretty simple. It's just a gearbox split off into these vertical or horizontal, if you would, flat bearings connected into vertical stabilizers, and these are constantly powered. Most of them are turned off when these elevators are activated, so they would actually fold up when they are powered. Tomcat, as you can see here, basic jet stuff. However, there are cogs drawing power for mechanical bearing, etc. These wings would actually fold and sweep back about, I don't know, 60 something degrees, maybe 48 degrees. So they would fold back like that. instead of using these as control surface, there's a smaller control surface on the inside here. These are mostly purely just decoration. In here, standard jet stuff. However, there is a large engine, as you can see here. Large engine. And some mech bearings. This one's my larger variant, so it's a lot more open. You can see stuff in here. This is a cannon mount, compact. And these are ripple blocks, which is sequential firing of rockets and missiles. Same thing here, just a smaller platform. Instead, there are mech bearings here for slanted air ducts. That is basically the rundown of jets. I need to find a reference so I can build something really quick, or I can just make something up. So let's try that actually. Whenever I make jets, I usually start from the nose, but for now we're gonna start off with the engine itself actually, and a lever. So this would basically just kill the power without killing the engine itself. I'm like trying to type the words that I'm saying. So when you activate it, no power will go through, and then you will be able to fix whatever you need. Yeah. I'm also gonna add computers into here, computer craft, because there is a Lua script where you actually have Betty screaming at you to pull up. Alright, so this is the basic engine setup I would do per se. I'm just gonna chain drive. Get a chain drive and bring this up maybe, but the clutch is in the way. Alright, I'm just gonna send it back. Alright, so we're gonna put this into a flat bearing and draw more power to the back. Alright, so here's the thing. Do not use these create gearboxes, other gearboxes. The base create gearbox with the data pack is 100 kilograms, using anything else really, just off your weight balance. So I'm gonna have these wings further up than the elevators. Let's get started on the wings. So for links, you're gonna place on top of your bearing or with a copycat block right here. As long as there's power connected to it, it will work. I'm just gonna drop power like this actually. So let's do something like this. Too close, too close. Pull that out. So we're going to use something like this. This will allow us to have slanted vertical stabilizers, and it just looks cool. For me, my control surfaces are inverted, not horizontal, but for pitch, not for rolling, but for pitch. So this, if you click S, instead of pitching down, you would pitch up, like pulling back on the joystick in real life. So that's what I would do. Right, and to keep this simple, I would just, I'm just going to use wool for the links. So for red, we're going to put that on our W key, and these are going to pitch down when there is power. The S key is for orange. It's going to pitch up when we click it. And for your wings, you're going to have to invert these right here, like that. So when this flap turns, the other flap turns the opposite direction, causing you to roll. You don't want to have dual links right here, because you're just going to send it actually turning. You're going to actually turn instead of rolling, which you might not want to do. I'm going to get some stairs here. I'll place them there just for looks, so you can see what's happening. And then we're gonna use a creative motor to show you. So as you can see here, nothing's happening. Especially if you can see the vertical stabilizers, we're gonna have to put a lever here to activate them. As you can see, they start to move. When you speed up to 128, and when you turn, go in opposite directions. This is what you want. Vertical pitch. As you can see, these elevators go up, and the real stabilizers go up as well. And when you're pitching, they go down. So this is the basic jet configuration. You're just gonna have to build a body around it, and put wings and arm it actually. Yeah, so this is what building is basically about. It's just all trial and error. This looks like it's gonna be a little long. Right now it's at 14 blocks. We kind of really have 17 blocks left over, in that direction, or in that direction. So most clockwork planes, Valkyrian skies, need to be small, or else they're not going to fly as well, because they're just big and bulky, really. So you're going to need a setup which is smaller and has a nice wing flap ratio, which is the reason why most of my planes have gotten smaller over the months that I've made it. So as you can see here, large F-15, these did fly well, but they don't really compare to how much better these ones fly. Plus, if you're in a dogfight, you're just a smaller target to hit, so that's really what you want. F-16 started off small, got bigger because the shape was horrible, but then I realized that it was huge, so you gotta downgrade. If you have 2 seats, it's best to use tournament seats, but if you're doing one, then a create seat would do fine. Let's pick gray. I'm gonna add a lectern right in front of it as well. Most computer, they will be able, Lua script, there is a version where you can have a monitor right in front for a flight HUD, but I don't really use that, so I just stick a lectern in front. This is where you keep your controls. You can obviously use it freehand like this, but you can also use it here to control everything. Another thing is the tweaked controller. This has a somewhat more realistic joystick, if you will, so you can only use one direction instead of pressing both keys at the same time. There's a combination, however, you cannot just, just press both buttons at the same time and like do some crazy things. So these are Valkyrian Skies Tournament thrusters. They are redstone powered only, so if you have a thruster sticking somewhere like right here and you don't want it to activate while you turn, you gotta move it, you gotta figure out a space for it, really. I'm gonna use purple for these thrusters. Another thing that's pretty useful are casings. You can place them for 100 extra kilograms for balance. Really nice. Blocks that I mainly use are these copycat blocks, just because for the fact that they are repeatable and I know how the numbers on it and the thickness, so that's why I use them. Yeah, this is looking good so far. We're gonna add a canopy over this. So we're gonna get stairs and trapdoors. we're going to use framed glass for this just so it can see a lot easier. So we're gonna put that here like that. I'm gonna move this forward actually, just like so. Filler block, place, copycat those. Place your trapdoors. There is your. Obviously, for different planes, you're gonna have different shapes. This is just standard sort of a bubble canopy, really. For now, we're not going to worry about that because we're using a creative tank and it doesn't really matter. Another thing that is useful is the axe from World Edit. Just move sections around. Like that. So right now I think we're totaling at 20-ish blocks, 21 maybe, and we can get started on the body. This is going to be like sort of an antenna when it is done, so we're going to face it like that. So a lot of people use Scorchia for their air ducts, but I personally use, up until now, these steel blocks, these armor blocks. I think this one's the one that I use. It's a nice, lightly textured block, but apparently this looks a lot better, which is sort of true. So I'm going to use this, like so. We can push this back actually. Like that. So when you're building planes, you want to look at what blocks you can use. These are pretty heavy, but they kind of look cool, so we might use these later. I'm going to place the half panel there. So we got this sort of slope look. We're going to do the same over here. That. And I'm going to put a stair down, actually. Stair or beam? Let's see. Sort of unusual U shape here, kind of like that, and then we're just gonna thicken it up here. Looking good, looking good. Move this section down, move that, your box. Yep, that. They have thrusters up here. You can get a link for it. This for it actually. Like that. If I can spell, that would be great. I think I can change that. Yeah, let's do this. So there would be one thruster. Alright, one link for both thrusters instead of two. Alright, we're gonna extend this body through. Use an armor-piercing disposable sabot. Very nice looking block. It looks just like a plane's nose. That. Then we're gonna get some layers. One here. Let's do 3 there. Half layers actually. We're gonna place them 3 here, 2 here, 3 here, 2 here. Onto that. I'm gonna grab some panels, and then we're gonna make a wing shape. Look. Yeah, these look a little good. They're decent. So I'm gonna grab a step. just gonna put a layer there. Not gonna do much harm. Step here maybe. Step here maybe. Yep. Alright, these are gonna be very, very round wings, as you can tell. Gonna grab a bite and smoothen this. That, and like that. It would be nice to be working with a symmetry wand right now, but I could literally care less. So we're gonna do this. Right here is looking a little sharp, maybe. So we're gonna bring this forward. So we're gonna extend this up to the air duct right here. Actually, I'm gonna bring this forward. Bring that in like that. Funky shape, I like that. Alright, about here, I'm gonna flatten that out. One, single, twin, what are we doing? I like using andesite alloy for this part. This looks good. Now we're gonna place these on the surface, right here. Alright, in here. Here's a slab. Is that there, here? That looks a little odd. We're just gonna turn these into bites. That maybe? Pretty wide. Bring this out. So slab. Just gonna run this. Gonna stack that just to cover this link up, and place one of these right here. 16. Grab a ship helm. Assemble it. That right now is workable. I'm not gonna deal with that hole. I'm just gonna do what I do. So when you start, you're gonna pull your elevators up. Gonna press shift. And I forgot to upgrade these thrusters, so it's super slow. But you get the right now the nose is super heavy and we're tipping down, so we should add more wings to the front, but it is plain, it's rolling, it's turning, it's pitching. basic jet setup, creation, whatever you want to call it. Anytime you build a plane or whatever, you want to use references. A lot of my planes are real life, so there is a correlation between size, looks, and actual performance, somewhat. Yeah, this is Logis, and this is your basic